We're going. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Auto Show Live, the final day of the 2019 Canadian International Auto Show. My name is Norris McDonald. I work for Toronto Star Wheels and Wheels.ca, and on behalf of the Toronto Star and Torstar Corporation, have a great final day here at the Auto Show. My guest for this second last edition of Auto Show Live is a gentleman from England originally, now living in Southern Ontario. His name is Darren L. He has an incredibly interesting display here down in the Auto Exotica level called the Hall of Fame Collection. Darren, welcome to Auto Show Live. Welcome to the Auto Show, and tell us all about the Hall of Fame Collection.
Well, thank you very much, Norris. It's a pleasure to be here, and especially on this last day, final day, I think, what is it, day 53, 54 of the show?
No, it's only day 10 of the show.
Day 10, but honestly,
seems like a long time.
It actually has gone very quickly. Believe it or not, it's actually my first auto show.
Really?
Yeah, I've never actually attended this show, and I'd had a fantastic time.
Well, I was going to say, and hopefully you were impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is day 10, like we mentioned, but I mean, it's just absolutely been amazing. The people that have come through the show, not only on our exhibit, but all the exhibits. You know, we've had up to 50,000 people, I think, on average, most days, and it's been spectacular. A lot of the fans are actually very knowledgeable in Canada. I'm actually very impressed on their knowledge of the drivers and the memorabilia we have in our booth.
Well, you know, your business, Hall of Fame Collection, you have helmets, driver uniforms, gloves, boots, trophies in some cases, going back dozens of years.
Correct.
And how did you start to collect all this stuff?
Yeah, it's a common question actually, Norris, and really the way I like to describe it is, you know, I started as a very young kid, and I was running around the paddock, and really I never stopped. I still am today, and at first it was, you know, going up to the drivers asking for stickers, and I think back to being the age of these youngsters here, and just being a fan of racing. You know, my dad took me to my first Grand Prix when I was 4 years old. Spotted a Ferrari flag on the floor. Knew it was going to be there probably in a few hours based on the condition of it and the rain and everything in San Marino. And several hours later, I was able to convince my dad that it had been sitting there. Took that home. One of my early souvenirs, which I've still got today. And from there, I started to collect more serious things. There was the model diecast to start, photographs of drivers that I would enjoy taking myself. And then it really progressed into kind of the race used stuff, you know. I was always kind of captivated by the drivers' helmets and their designs, you know, in the programs, studying them from an early age. And when I was able to save up and afford my first driver race worn helmet, it was kind of a big deal. And
how much did it cost you in Canadian dollars to buy that first helmet? And who wore it?
Yeah, it's actually...
What was the race?
Yeah, it's a fun story. You know, like many people have scoured the internet, I'm sure a lot of people here have been on eBay. That was the first place I went to. Came across an old NASCAR helmet, believe it or not. It was open-faced. It had a tech sticker in it. I believe it was maybe January 30th, 1972. And then I tracked down the driver's number. It was number 90, and I realized it was Bill Dennis. He actually won that race, the Daytona 300, and I paid $19.95 for it. That's $20. I had it on my email list for many years with a profit built in there. It never sold, and it still sits in my collection today, and it's not for sale.
Well, I was going to say, now it is a collectible item.
It is, yeah, it's sentimental.
It's something that you're not going to give away. You know, just very quickly, I want to just catch up a bit on the business aspect of it again, and how this has taken you into doing other things with the race drivers, and then we'll get into some of the stuff that you brought here today, which is fascinating. This is a multi-million dollar collection that you have. You've got 500 helmets. You've got, what, 300 or so race uniforms.
That's right.
You know, it's an amazing, amazing thing. And it's a constant turnover because you're selling it, but you're buying or collecting at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. You know, many collectors, they're able to purchase things and they really hold on to them. my philosophy from the get-go was I didn't have the budget to just keep buying. I had to think a little bit differently, trade some pieces. I started to sell some pieces, and then it was really fun to connect with other collectors who actually become race fans and friends of mine personally. So I pay attention to what they were looking for. When we were able to track down items for them, you build in a profit like most business.
Right.
But sell it to them at the right price, treat them fine, treat them good. They come back, you find them more stuff, and it's really grown the collection over the years. And a lot of the time, people ask me, Darren, is it hard to part with this item? And I have a very good sort of mindset of what's going into the collection, such as my Indianapolis 500 Champions collection, dates back to 1958, all the way to 2018. I just picked up Takuma Sato's helmet actually in an auction, so it was the last one I was missing that was between those years.
That's amazing. So from Jimmy Bryan in 1958 to the present, you have all the race-worn helmets that the winners of the Indianapolis 500 had on when they actually won that iconic race. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, not the actual winning one, but ones that they wore during their career. Yeah, that would be really spectacular. Well, but saying that, I have managed to get 2 of Alan Senior's winning suits from his 4 wins.
Right.
And so it's kind of grown a little bit. I've been a bit cheeky. I started collecting extra things from winners who've got multiple wins. Even though I was telling myself I only need 1 set, But when you're a collector, you can't really help yourself.
Well, look, I'm not a collector, but I have a bunch of stuff around the house. I can't part with any of it. My wife says when Norris croaks, she's going to just order a front-end loader to come to the house
and call Darren Jack.
Oh, well, okay. That would probably be because maybe there might be a nugget or 2 in there that you might be interested in. A sideline of this collecting, you've gotten to know these drivers. You've got a personal relationship with many of the Formula One drivers, most of the IndyCar drivers, because you're living on this side of the pond.
That's right.
And so you're going to most of the races, if not all of them. And so you're working with some of them as far as maybe some sponsorship deals, some other business deals. James Hinchcliffe, Alexander Rossi. Tell us a wee bit about that aspect of the Darren Jack career.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have high-end collectibles, such as I brought one of them up here, which has been a real showstopper this weekend.
Oh, yes.
This is a 2018 Formula One wheel from Max Verstappen. This is actually one that he used during the 28 season. Started using this wheel configuration, I believe, in 2016. So a lot of the fans are actually enjoying coming up, seeing these, holding them.
Right.
But because of the price tag, it is it's a hefty purchase, not for everybody's bank account.
I was going to say, just give me a ballpark figure.
Yeah.
What can I buy Max Verstappen's Red Bull Racing steering wheel for?
Norris McDonald's price, that's got to be a little bit better. So for $25,000, you can take this home.
$25,000, a bargain.
A bargain, yeah.
A bargain.
There's a gentleman over there just outbid you $20,000 and what? No, we won't turn this into an auction.
No, we're not going to do that today.
What's nice is the people that do collect this are usually business owners or involved somehow in a higher end position in their company.
Right.
They have an interest level in racing. So for me, working with some of the young drivers, you mentioned James Hinchcliffe, he's a great marketing person for a company, great spokesman, I believe.
Incredible.
So when you get the certain companies that are interested in racing, the CEOs, etc.
Or Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, yeah. That's what these drivers have to do these days. And being as ring candidate, we're talking about James. He's a perfect example. These are the perfect opportunities to bring these CEOs back to races, come visit, be involved. Be a VIP sponsor of these drivers, or bring your corporate partners out to come to the races too.
Right.
And it's actually quite affordable to get into racing on the sponsorship side that companies don't realize.
Okay.
You see the major sponsors on the side of the car, but you can get in actually a lot better entry level prices, especially on the personal relationships with drivers. And that's where I like to help. These drivers are very good. I would believe they should be well paid, and and the modern day gladiators, you know.
Well, absolutely.
Danger aspect, it is there. It's not something everyone likes to talk about, and because of that, you know, they are, to us, there are true heroes, you know.
Sure they are.
One of the pieces that we have here this weekend, for example,
And reach down to pick up.
is this Senna helmet. Ayrton Senna signed this helmet back in 1988. They did. He won his first world championship, and Bell did a limited edition series, much like they do today. This one was an edition of 250 helmets, and it was hand signed by Senna. Of course, you know, we led into that because Senna tragically lost his life in 1994. Everybody knows that. But 3 world championships before that, and sometimes it makes you realize when you lose somebody like that how important these guys are, and how brave they are, and how talented they are on the edge. And that's why I have a lot of respect for the drivers for today and the drivers from the past. Every driver's career is kind of, in my opinion, should be celebrated as small or as big as it actually
Absolutely.
was.
And motor racing today, of course, is much safer than it was, say, even 40, 45 years ago, when the helmets were open-faced. They didn't have the harnesses to hold them in the car.
Yes.
The cars were not as safe. They're almost like racing cars have evolved much like passenger cars have. You know, passenger cars of today are remarkably much safer as compared to, say, a car that you and I would have purchased. Well, I would have purchased, don't know about you, in, say, the 1970s. And
Yeah, I wasn't born, Norris.
No, I keep forgetting that. You know, now listen, you've got hidden down here something that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
This is
You know,
Nico Rosberg's. I guess he would have worn this in his final year with Mercedes, the year that he won the World Championship.
Yeah, this one, I mean, he raced from, I think, 2010, 2009, maybe 2010, all the way to 2016.
Right.
And actually, that era of suits were all very similar. So the modern suits of today are actually very similar from 5-6 years ago.
Right.
And they're very lightweight. And what's neat about this is actually it's one of the suits that we have in this fantastic collection we're just about to offer and we released today. It's an F1 World Champions collection. It actually belongs to a motorsport legend. I can't name him on here, but if you go to our Instagram or website, you may be able to figure it out. But this motorsport legend actually built his own World Champions collection. So the collection dates as early as on the spot here, 1961, I believe. We have a suit from Phil Hill. Actually, we have a Farina suit as well in there. So the first Formula One world champion. So 1950, we've got a suit from every world champion, with the exception of 4. So that's 28 Formula One world champions out of 32 in this collection, and you can actually view it on our website. If you go to RacingHallOfFameCollection.com, you'll be able to see the link and to that page as well today, and also on our Instagram page at Hall of Fame Collection.
Okay, now I'm already on the hook for $25,000 for Max Verstappen's steering wheel. Okay, we haven't talked about the Senna. We're not going to.
Sure.
I think it might be a little out of my league. But how much would it set? How much more will I add to my Platinum American Express card if I buy that Nico Rosberg driving uniform?
Well, if you like racing suits, you like the full collection, for over $1 million US, you can buy the racing collection that belongs to this world champion.
So in other words, the helmet,
all of the racing suits in the F1 Champions collection. But for this Nico Rosberg suit, actually, this will set you back about $5,500.
Oh, actually,
so
that's a bargain.
It is quite reasonable.
That's
and
a bargain.
What goes into valuing these items is the demand and also how many are available. So certain drivers, for example, if you look at Lewis Hamilton, you could have the same suit from the same year. You're probably looking at around $20,000-$25,000.
Right.
Because
well, he was the world champion. Yeah.
More championships. But Nico Rosberg, for some reason, there are more suits of his around.
Right.
We only have one in stock right now, and I think it's a very good buy. But that does go into we do take that into account when we're actually putting these items on the website, so we price things correctly based on their availability and popularity.
Well, I was going to just ask, this is my next question now. Now the racing driver that I adored probably more than all others Buggers, although it's very, very, very close.
Can I guess?
Go ahead, take a guess.
Is he Canadian?
No, he was not.
Oh,
no, he
okay.
was not.
I was
No, he
going to
was
say
not.
Gilles, but
Well, he was not.
how about British?
Yes, you're getting
Is he-
warm.
Was he racing in my era?
Yes, he was.
How about Nigel Mansell?
Go to the top of the class.
Yes.
You have a Nigel Mansell helmet down there that you have a $40,000 price tag on.
That's correct.
Now, why is Nigel Mansell's? He won one world championship. He was in Lyon, though, to the Italians.
Yes.
And any of us who like to see a race driver who gave his all, it was Nigel Mansell. And when I talk about that, he and Gilles were very similar. You know, they both sold their houses right from under their wives' feet. Gilles Villeneuve walked home one day and said to his wife, "We're moving." And she said, "Why?" And he said, "I sold the house. I have to buy a Formula Ford car." You know, so that's the sort of thing that these
And it wasn't a
guys-
two-seater.
No, it was not. couldn't take Jacques and Melanie around with them. But why is the Nigel Mansell helmet so expensive?
It's a good question, and again, back to availability and demand.
Right.
Nigel Mansell, obviously, very popular driver, not only in Formula One, but in this part of the world, in IndyCar racing. I'm sure there's some people here that have gotten to see Nigel race in Toronto.
World champion '93, kart champion '94.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Exactly. So in the early 90s, you know, he was the man, but also in the 80s when he almost won the world championship a few times, and certainly in my era when I was growing up, he was the main man in our household.
Right.
And being British and being able to run on the track and celebrate with all the fans as a youngster, I was there, I can say, and now those memories stay with me forever. But back to the helmet, it's his French Grand Prix winning helmet.
Right.
So Mansell, I believe he had 31 Grand Prix wins, if I'm correct. So it's one of only 31 race-winning helmets. Now, he could have wore those other helmets during other wins also.
Sure.
Likely in '92 he did, because he won many races that year, perhaps even 8 or 9 or something. But yeah, it's a very rare helmet. Mansell doesn't let many helmets go out of his collection. We have one in our collection. It is available on our website, racinghalloffamecollection.com. And as you mentioned, it's got a $40,000 price tag on it, and it's probably going to sell pretty quickly.
It's probably going to sell very quickly. Since I already bought the steering wheel, I can't afford the helmet, so we'll let that go. Although maybe I could flip the steering wheel,
You could
make
do
a
that.
profit,
Yes.
and I could buy the Mansell helmet. Okay, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But you know, you got a pair of racing shoes,
Yeah.
and a pair of racing gloves here, belonging to
Sebastian Vettel.
Now, I got to show you this. Sebastian Vettel, or Vettel, nobody knows how, or Vettel, nobody really knows how you pronounce the guy's name. We'll call him Vettel. He is without a doubt one of the most wonderful, flamboyant, talented, balls to the wall, can I say that in public, racing drivers that you have ever seen, and he has got really, really tiny feet. Look at this. What are we looking at? Size 6 here?
Yeah, I think there's 6.5. It's really cool because the fans here have enjoyed coming to our booth and seeing custom-made Puma boots. You know, these sell for about $3,500.
Now we're getting close. We're getting close.
What's neat is people just enjoy coming up and seeing, you know, how these guys have custom-made shoes with carbon fiber heels and how lightweight it is, the technology of the racing gear, how it's come a long way. These are Puma products, and also the gloves, you know, so fans who can't afford the helmets and steering wheels, but the wife is here having a good time, they send them to go look at a new car, they take home some gloves, they're quite affordable. We have a good selection of Hamilton, we have Nico Rosberg, we have Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen, Bottas, all the top F1 drivers. So come on down to our booth at Auto Exotica and check it out.
Okay, so very quickly, we're going to say so long here. I do want a prediction from you.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with your business, nothing to do with the collectibles.
Sure.
Who will win the Formula One World Championship in 2019? Oh, he's got to think about it. Come on. If anybody knows...
I was going to say Charles. Should I make a prediction?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay. I think realistically, I'd have to say Lewis Hamilton. He's too good, you know. I'd love to say a Ferrari is gonna beat him. It would be good for business, be good for everybody's enjoyment. But you know what? I have to put my money on Lewis Hamilton. He never makes mistakes. He's one of the greatest. I'm not just saying that because he's British, you know. But
and it'll be the worst thing for Formula One if he wins again. I'm putting my money on the guy with the little feet.
All right.
Sebastian Vettel is going to do it this year. It's going to be his 5th World Championship. I really don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up. Absolutely. So many variables. But it's really going to come down, as usual, to Mercedes or Ferrari, I think. Okay, quickly, last question. IndyCar. Who's going to win the championship in 2019?
Now I'm definitely going to get in trouble from some of my friends here. So I think Alexander Rossi is a hot favorite. He's been very good. He's been very underestimated actually in the last few years, his talent level. He's starting to be appreciated. Scott Dixon is always there, you know. He's always there. He's consistent.
Well, you're very good friends with Scott Dixon.
Yeah, I've known Scott a long time, and he's a great guy, and he's such a genius out of the car, you know. That's what I get to see when he's not in the car, his mental capacity and his ability just to be non-emotional, you know. Sure. And Alexander Rossi is also learning a lot from Scott Dixon. I see him kind of as he's mentoring him almost in a way, because he's taking it in. But you know what? You've got the Penske's of Will Power, Joseph Newgarden, and Pagenaud can never be counted out.
Right.
There's Ryan Hunter-Reay had a strong finish. That's what's beautiful about IndyCar. You know, James Hinchcliffe's always there to win some races.
No doubt about the fact that IndyCar is the strength through the field is definitely better than it is in Formula One.
But I expect James Hinchcliffe on the podium again in Toronto. That's a prediction, right?
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps it up for our interview with Darren Jack. We got some of his displays here, his Hall of Fame collection. See many more helmets, bigger boots, gloves, uniforms down in the Auto Exotic area, very close to the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame display. And so I urge everybody to go down and take a look at your collection and to visit the Hall of Fame. This is Norris McDonald for Toronto Star Wheels and Wheels.ca. We will be back for another Auto Show Live at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Kerry Schmidt and the OPP will be here, and then we will draw the curtain on another Auto Show Live season at the Canadian International Auto Show. Enjoy the Auto Show this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Sold.